Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So this one is the feeding of the slings. I'm going to split it down into two videos because I think that having recorded it, and this is me just doing the start of it, having recorded it, actually it was a long video, but it's really interesting. There's some fantastic footage. Hope you enjoy it. It's the miniature in the tarantula world, the spiderlings that are feeding, and that's what we go ahead and do today. So they've been, if you remember from a previous video, they've gone from these sling pots and they're now in this size tub. So that's the that's where they've gone from and to. This is about their first feed, and then we'll be able to get this, see the spiders a little bit better and everything like that. So I hope you enjoy it. Let's roll VT. Right, so I thought I'd do a feeding video with a difference. These are all going to be the slings. If you'd watched a previous video, I'd rehoused these. So this is 24 hours after they've been rehoused, and this is the Papilopus famosus, and just see if it's ready to feed yet. So I've got yeah, it's definitely ready to feed. I've got a tub full of small red runner, sort of small stage nymphs, stroke go out hunting for that. Come on. Look at that. Come on, you can find a look at that. How fantastic is that to watch? You know, no matter how big they are, never get tired of watching them feed. But yeah, so this one is fed very well. So I've given it 2, settle it in, give it a bit more water. And I feed my slings sort of twice a week, and I'll do that. I'll get a couple of red runners of that size each week until they sort of grow on. So that's the way we do that in this spider room. That's one. So one that we certainly didn't rehouse was this beauty. Now this is my Grammastola pultra sling. This is an absolutely beautiful sling, and yeah, sort of in here probably I reckon another couple of molts, but a great feeder. So this one's getting let's have a look. You can focus on that sort of size of red runner anyway. So bring it into focus. Now this is a great feeder, this one, and you'll have 2 of those, no problem at all. And I think when you see them feed at this this age, I do honestly believe that it's as much fun as feeding the bigger ones. And let's be honest, if we're keeping tarantulas, feeding them is a big part of the routine. And obviously helping them grow and, you know, everything else, but that is a proper chilled out spider. As to be fair, the poultry generally are, aren't they? As a species, but just something different. So this is a Nandu chromatus. This isn't one we've rehoused recently. This is just another one. And this one's another bulldozer. Let's make sure I'm putting that into frame. But yeah, I just think feeding slings is underrated, really. I think you know, we do in this hobby like maybe overlook the feeding of slings, because generally everybody wants to see the big uns getting fed, but size isn't important, as I've always said. Well, I've always convinced myself of, anyway. Let's see if we can get this. No, that roach just ran straight down. But they all get given the same. They'll get given 2 red runners, and then that's them twice a week. We didn't get to see that one, which is fine. And this is the another Grammostola. This is the Porcupes, Poultripes, as I've always called them, until recently, when people go, it's not that, it's Porcupes. I'm like, okay. So I've become a sheep. Instead of calling them a Poultripes, which is what I've called them for years, I will now call them a Porcupes. But at the end of the day, who's right and who's wrong? When these were named, I'm sure whoever named them would be able to say, actually you pronounce it Poulch Ripes. Anyway, let's give this one. My rule of thumb when I'm sort of feeding them is I generally look at abdomen size, and then I'll gauge it. So obviously if they're looking like they're in pre-molt, I'll sort of try them, and then as we go ahead with it, I'll kind of decide on the feed. If they kind of refuse, or generally what you find with them when they're sort of younger, where they'll back the food away. So if they start doing that, then that's it. I'll just take them off, take the prey out. And the way I do it to identify if one's in pre-molt, I don't know if I've ever, well, you may not have watched any of my other videos, but if I'm identifying one as in pre-molt, all I've got is a little bit of red electrician's tape. I've got loads of little squares, and then all I do is I just stick that onto the enclosure to state either it hasn't fed or it's in pre-molt. But you know, it's a good way of identifying. Now this is the Hattie Hattie. Now I doubt very much, I mean, you never ever ever see this spider. I think I've seen it twice. Just the webbing just increases, so try and be really careful as I take it off. There you go, so you can see. So this is the purple earth tiger, the Syriapogus species Hattie Hattie. Unfortunately, very rarely does it ever get seen. So I don't ever damage its enclosure in any way. The water dish is just under there that I know, so I just fill that up. I just use a syringe with a blunt needle on, to fill them if they're sort of like that, purely because I don't want to damage the webbing. But this one will get similar sizes, so I'll try and get the roaches underneath the webbing, and then it might come out, but it's quite a shy spider really. I very rarely see it, but it will soon work out that there's food in there, and usually comes out at night time, so that's what we'll do. What we've got next. So this is the Davus pentaloris, the Guatemalan tiger rump. This was one of the ones that we housed yesterday, so this is going to be one of the new ones, and we're going to gauge and see if it started webbing a little bit, but hopefully there you go, that's quite happy to feed, which is fantastic. Put another one in there for it, see if it's up for round 2. I tend to on the smaller spiders, I tend to just give the roaches a bit more of a squeeze, just take the life out of them effectively, but it just gives these little guys a bit more of a chance. But some of them are ferocious and they'll take down live prey without any issue at all, so I would say just go with what you feel. So the next one on the list is the Syricomus elegans, which is the Trinidad dwarf. And if any of you watched the rehousing video, this one certainly didn't want to go in here, whereas it seems to have made it home now, which is fab. So we'll see if this one feeds. Go a bit smaller with this one, but yeah, this one's good to go. As you can see, it's what a stunning spider that is. It really is. I mean, you know, as a sling, that is one seriously gorgeous spider. But that's feeding, so that's fab. And this, like I said, this is sort of 24 hours on from yesterday. So just give them time to settle in, and then sort of feed them. Because it is, at the end of the day, it is a traumatic process for them, I think, as spiders as well. We've definitely got to appreciate them. Now, as you can see, this one has decided it didn't like the hide I made. It's decided it's going here. You can just see the legs sticking out. Let's just see if this one's up for a bit of food. Definitely. They're all feeding really well, which is always fab to see. So yeah, it's had 2 without blinking. It's really happy with that, and you know, the chromatus as a species. I'll just come a bit closer just while I just top up the water bowl for this one. But yeah, beautiful things. But yeah, so it's good to see them eating, and obviously rehoused yesterday, eating today, so everything's good, everything's going in the right direction. And I do have to say that I love the these particular tubs, because they lend themselves to growing on slings. You know, the sling pots have their place, don't get me wrong, but you know, these are just better just for that next little growth on. So this one is a agen, so I would expect a decent feed response from this being an agen, but we'll see. Typical. So there you go. So this is what I was talking about. So as you can see, it's raised its front legs, not in any threatening manner, but it's raised its front legs there. Not interested in that food. Like literally, like I don't want to know. So I've given that a fairly decent squeeze, and as you can see, if we just bring it up, actually it's got quite a shiny bum coming through. You can see just at the back there, that roach is underneath it. It's absolutely not interested at all. So I think with that being a shiny bum and it having the opportunity to eat then and refusing, I think we need to get this roach out. And like I said to you, this will then get a little red square, and all that says is I refused to feed the last time you tried. So when I know, and then I can sort of gauge what's going on with each spider. Well, that is the first refusal we've had today, so we're not doing too bad. So this one is turned out to be a right bulldozer, which is fantastic. Love it. Bit of personality. It's all about that. So this is the Cotswald Brinipes, which is the dwarf pink leg. Absolutely stunning as a tarantula. This is obviously one of the dwarf species, but wait, maybe not. This is another one similar in regards to the way it responded to the prey. He's having to think about it, but I don't think it's that interested. It's got a slightly shiny bum, but nothing to write home about. It's not, I wouldn't say it's looking in pre-molt, but it may be. So yeah, we'll have a look. We'll have a look and see. But what I might do with this one is, knowing how this spider feeds, I have left prey in there before and it's always gone. So it's just about knowing your spiders, isn't it? This one has always been fed in a sling tub, so now it's sort of it's got the opportunity to feed like this for the first time, and it just might find it a bit weird. So I'll just leave that one in, but that will be getting that's just getting a red sticker out, just so I can keep an eye on that. Now this is the Petrum Palmer Sazame, or the Brazilian blue, and again a little stunner. Let's just see if this one wants to feed. Now size wise I'm going to have to go for something a bit smaller for this one, so depending on how ferocious it eats, these are a bit smaller. Well, that was having plenty of that, wasn't it? It's had two roaches without any issue whatsoever. And it looks like it's quite small on the abdomen as well, so what I might do is stick a third in for it, just give it a little bit more of a feed up. So yep, that one's definitely happy. So this is another one of my Brachypelma amelias. This one's, I've grown this one on from a really, and I mean when I say tiny, it was an absolutely minute sling. So I've grown this on from then. And this one I've kept relatively dry, in fact very dry, but just they all get a water dish. I don't tend to mist them very often unless they're proper diggers and whatever else. So this one, and you can see when it was very small I was filling a water dish like that. So it is in a dry environment, but this one, you know, he's definitely growing on and feeding well now. So let's see if this one fancies a bit of food. Yeah, that one's happy. So we'll stick a couple in for this one. But yeah, I mean this one will dig the roaches up and everything and go for it, so I'm not worried about that roach just disappearing. It'll find it. It's got, I don't know if you can see, but sort of here made its little house, but it tends to be out quite frequently. But yeah, looking forward to the amelias growing on. Hopefully a future breeding project, so we shall see. Just one left to do. This is an agen, another agen. So this is, as you can see, a young agen. Hopefully maybe not then. There we go. There we go. Nice little agent sling. You can see, just see the barring coming out on its legs. So, as I said, if you haven't watched it, I'd suggest you watch the Red Runner video I've just recently done, and about, you know, I feed all of my tarantulas on cockroaches I breed. Now I understand and I know that everybody's not going to have potentially the same the same environment as I've got, and be lucky enough to have an environment where they can you know, breed cockroaches. And I know I'm in a fortunate position. I've got a spider room and everything else, but what I will say is that, you know, adapt to overcome, all that kind of stuff, because you know, make it happen if you possibly can, even with a small little tub. And if you look at the video, I've got a breeding colony in a smaller tub, probably the size some people keep spiders in, and at least then you can have a colony. You know what's being fed to them. You know what's going inside them, which ultimately means what's going inside your spiders. So definitely consider it. So this is the get me words out. This is the Brachypalma auratum. Okay, now this one is quite ferocious as a feeder. It's absolutely fantastic, and it's done really well since I've had it. If you remember, this is one that if you've been watching the channel, obviously this is one I purchased off Luke Spar Spiders. Get it out. And he sent me this because he had one in stock, or a couple in stock, and I wanted one. There you go. And I've wanted one, or needed one, for my Brachypalma collection. So this one I purchased for that exact reason, and it's slightly bigger than the other slings we fed tonight, but I would say as beautiful. So in fact, probably one of my, I can't say favourites, you got, isn't it like your mum, you can't have your favourites, but anyway, so that's the auratum. Well, that was pretty impressive, wasn't it? I think the reality is that when you see them feeding, and there is no real difference, and I think it's sometimes, you know, maybe a little bit more exciting. You know, they are learning to feed, we're effectively teaching them how to hunt and all of that kind of stuff, so things like this are really good. So that's the end of part 1. There is part 2 coming up, and hopefully you subscribed and you'll watch that one. If you haven't, please consider clicking that subscribe button, hit that bell icon, and you won't miss any videos. You certainly won't miss part 2 when I put that up. And I just want to give my shout out again. This is what I'm going to start doing, and the channel who's getting a shout out today is Victoria from Tea in the Deep Blue Sea. She does some fab videos. It's all about the sea and what's in it, and she's very, very knowledgeable in that subject. So Victoria, keep doing what you're doing. I really enjoy your videos. Okay, and I'll put a link in the description below. In fact, her sticker lives on the wall. So there you go. All right then, that's it for today though, guys. Remember, stay inverted, keep it crawly, and I'll see you on the next one.